Ja, velkommen. De koster 25 Rema, altså, så de smager godt, ikke? Køb 10 kasser. Ej, det går ikke. Velkommen til en reaktionsvideo, og i dag, der skal vi simpelthen se, igen, når man laver film, og når man laver serier, når man laver ting og sager, så er det jo som regel, måske ikke lige i YouTube-universet, men i hvert fald i filmuniverset og serieuniverset, der tjener de pengene på merch. Det er merch, de tjener penge på. Det er ikke nødvendigvis serien, de tjener mange penge på, men det er merch. Buy that merch. Buy that merch. Så der skal vi se på historien om de dårligste SHREK-produkter.
Considering its impact, it's hard to believe the last Shrek movie came out well over a decade ago. Somehow, this iconic saga of films has avoided becoming some estranged, faded memory of the 2000s and actually managed to stay culturally relevant years later.
Var der ikke noget med, at de ville lave en ny Shrek-film igen, eller sådan noget? Måske, jeg ved det ikke. Jeg ved det ikke.
What kept it going? Was it
What kept it going, man?
endless memes?
Yeah.
The spin-offs?
Yeah.
Was it Al Pacino's phone case at a
memes,
dinner party?
memes.
It was a gift. It was a gift from my daughter.
Whatever the reason, it's clear that something about the franchise resonates with us on a deep cultural level. So much so that the Library of Congress actually inducted the first Shrek film into the National Film Registry, an honor reserved only for films that prove to have a, quote, historical, cultural, or aesthetic significance.
Ja, okay.
And in a lot of ways, it was rightly earned. Shrek was a clever, satirical jab at the last 60 years of fairy tale style animation, with a general appeal that managed to charm audiences young and old. That's what ultimately made the movie an instant classic and unarguably a smash hit. Little did we know that DreamWorks would leverage this position with one of the most obnoxiously aggressive marketing campaigns of the last 50 years. For
See
over
the
a
good
decade,
stuff.
DreamWorks would put Shrek on almost
TV,
every product
eller hvad?
imaginable, and one way or
Mad,
another,
glas,
we
ja, det er meget
eventually all
standard.
bought in. By Shrek 3, it was practically a part of everyday life. One day we all just rubbed our eyes and realized we were bathing with Shrek shampoo and eating green ketchup. And
det
it
er
wasn't
only
even our
in
fault.
America, ikke?
As
Only
part
in
of their
America.
marketing efforts, DreamWorks had made it their sole initiative to have a tie-in product with almost every major brand on the planet.
Ja, det er sygt nok.
It was virtually unavoidable. And depending on where you were in the world, those product tie-ins could get very, very weird.
Ej.
So
Twinkies.
today, we're taking a break from the deep dives to look at some of the weirdest Shrek-themed products that DreamWorks ever licensed.
Grøn
Some
ketchup, eller
good,
hvad?
some bad, and some deadly for some reason. And
Deadly.
unsurprisingly, many of those products were snacks, primarily
Snacks.
targeted towards children.
Ej.
In a lot of ways, the 2000s kind of felt like an Area 51 style
with you, man?
testing grounds for children's food products. You had a lot of shameless use of artificial coloring, 14-syllable ingredients, dunkables, dippables, whatever
Dunkable,
this
dibble,
is, and a whole lot of other offenses. And it's not to say that these foods aren't still prevalent today, but we're talking about a time when a much larger portion of parents were less concerned with nutrition and more concerned with getting kids to just shut up and eat. And this kind of ignorance gave companies a lot more room for experimentation.
Jeg må nok sige.
Now, when it came to Shrek-themed food products, that was no exception.
Ej.
Somebody
Ja,
In
grøn
2000,
ketchup.
Heinz took a look at a chart and realized that roughly half of ketchup consumers were children. And since it takes a grown-up to realize that ketchup is a C-tier sauce at best,
Okay.
inevitably tried to find more ways to appeal to kids.
Ja.
In
Grøn
their efforts,
ketchup,
Heinz
sådan.
pushed their R&D department to the forefront of ketchup technology, re-engineering their formula to produce an artificially colored ketchup in a myriad of different colors.
Ja, det er bare...
And
Altså, hvorfor bare ændre farven på det, ikke? Altså, det er sådan lidt...
the first Shrek movie came out. So, Heinz performed the intellectual equivalent of banging two rocks together and marketed their green ketchup as Shrek Ketchup. Shrek Up. And for those of us old enough to remember, Heinz colored ketchup was a total hit, making quite a respectable 6-year run from 2000 to 2006. Unfortunately, toward the end of the product's life cycle, parents were starting to get a little suspicious about the product's ingredients.
Nå.
And rightfully so. Turns out Heinz had chemically re-engineered their ketchup to the point where they legally could not call the product tomato ketchup.
Okay.
Maybe in hindsight, releasing
Heinz,
mystery color wasn't such a good idea.
Hold da kæft, man. Det er sygt nok. Ændrer så meget på det, at det ikke er ketchup mere. Den er ikke helt god.
TV dinners aren't so depressing when you're a kid, which is probably...
Short TV-dinner og sådan noget, det er virkelig også bare en amerikansk ting. Er det noget, man havde? Men det har man haft i Danmark egentlig. Det ved jeg faktisk ikke engang. Aldrig nogensinde, så var det sådan en bakke med mad. Sådan, det virker sådan, jeg ved ikke hvorfor, jeg tænker bare, instantly tænker jeg bare fængsel. Det er bare det, jeg tænker.
Just by looking at the boxes, kid cuisine appears to hold the record for having the highest amount of unidentifiable substances in its frozen meals, which is a record no food product should ever have. And apparently, the Shrek-themed dinners were no exception. Originally advertised for Shrek 2, these meals included Shrek-shaped nuggets, Shrek-shaped mac and cheese, and the ever-infamous swamp pudding, which advertised the ability to turn your tongue green. This marketing gimmick would go on to be
nærmest bare så, det er jo nærmest som om det bare slik så, ikke? Altså, det er sådan det vi er på vej det hen af, ikke? Altså.
And in my opinion, really exhausted itself by the time we got to Shrek Cheetos. Later on in 2010, Kid Cuisine would bring back the tie-in to promote Shrek Forever After, this time with a contest. That's right, if you were one of the lucky few to pull the coveted green tray from specially marked packages, you were granted the chance to win a trip to Universal Studios to meet Shrek, who, at least for a time, was still kind of a work in progress. So what's Kid Cuisine up to today? Any new products? Exciting new
Lunchables, man, det er ikke.
From one look at their website, it barely looks like their menus changed. In fact, the company's never even made an effort to branch out with their meal items or provide healthier alternatives. But can we really expect much from a company that once advertised color-changing dessert as an attractive selling point? I don't think so.
The Nesquik Swarm Syrup. Ej. Hvorfor skal det, bare fordi det er Shrek, hvorfor skal det så ikke være af grønt, kan jeg godt forstå, ikke? Men hvorfor skal det være sådan swarm snask, du ved, mudder pis?
Ploy was green-colored everything. Green ketchup, green tongues, green popcorn, green...
Okay, popcorn også.
Cream. It had kind of gotten out of hand. But when it came to this marketing tactic, no other product curdles the tongue more than Nesquik's limited edition swamp-flavored syrup. And no, that's not a joke. This Spanish label directly translates to swamp flavor, but apparently the actual taste was more akin to sour apple. From what I can tell, this product was widely sold throughout South America and Europe, but all I could really find were Eastern European commercials from 2004. So if you've ever wanted to hear a Hungarian voice actor literally moaning for swamp milk, well, look no further.
Sådan, man.
As much as I want to use this product, I very well may be in the minority, as it appears as though a petition has been created to actually bring this stuff back.
And they're
like super close to reaching their goal. So if any of you want to be the change you wish to see in the world, I've gone ahead and linked the petition down below. That's it.
Ja, der kommer Twinkies der. Det er jo bare Twinkies med grøn snask.
Shrek Twinkies, or Shrinkies, were a Hostess tie-in product that was released exclusively for Shrek 2 and Shrek Forever After, boasting the same great Twinkie taste, but with a Shrek-colored cream filling. This is just another product in a long line of Shrek-themed foods that oddly appears to contain some sort of preserved Shrek essence, and it is a trend I am all too glad has come and gone. And it seems I'm not alone in thinking this. In a presentation to the United States Senate, Senator Tom Harkin of Iowa also voices his distaste for Shrek Twinkies in what may be one of the funniest 2 minutes in American politics.
Many, as I said, advertisements for junk food snacks use characters popular with children. Here's Shrek advertising Twinkies. I kind of like Shrek. And now using Shrek to poison our kids.
Oh, yeah.
Green Twinkies with a green filling in them. Nutritional value, 0. Shrek now becomes a bad guy. Kids see Shrek and they like Shrek. They saw the movie. Shrek has a powerful appeal to kids' minds. I kind of like Shrek.
For satan.
In order to promote Shrek 4
Cup.
in 2010, McDonald's would offer
glas.
Shrek-themed drinking glasses for $2.
Jeg føler bare altid, at når du kan få sådan en glas-ting der, ikke? Så på en eller anden mærkelig måde er de altid pissegiftige, de der glas der. Der er et eller andet i dem, der er pissegiftige. Og jeg vil gætte næsten også på, der er et eller andet, der er giftige ved dem her. Det er måske der, hvor det der dangerous er.
A piece alongside any order. The glasses featured all the characters we knew and loved. One for Donkey, Fiona, Shrek, and Puss in Boots. And strangely enough, this glass, yes, this specific glass, ended up costing McDonald's millions. Turns out, some of the designs on the glasses contained high traces of cadmium, a chemical that, in
giftig glas.
high enough concentration, is basically poison. And thanks to an overly informative article covering the controversy, I now know way too much about cadmium.
Cadmium der.
Essentially, this chemical is commonly used as a pigment for coloring glassware, and is pivotal in producing the colors orange and yellow. This is where Puss in Boots comes in.
Yes.
Since the color of the character was primarily orange, the cup would end up wildly exceeding the FDA's pre-approved limit for cadmium. So McDonald's took the proactive approach and recalled every single glass. In an effort to round up as many as possible, the company offered to buy back customers' glasses for $3 each. And since they were originally sold for $2, consumers could actually turn a profit. Of course, McDonald's would lose money in the process, but as far as they were concerned, it was a much better option than a class action lawsuit. In the end, the company ended up recalling over 12 million cups, losing millions of dollars in the process. Considering the events, some might actually applaud McDonald's for their proactive response. Don't be fooled. This is the same company that got excited about putting cartoon ears on minimum wage workers, and it does not get more evil than that.
Okay. Det kunne være meget fedt at have sådan SHREK hårbånd, eller hvad det hedder.
It seems like when
Et
it
magasin.
comes to
Han
Shrek
lavede hele
marketing
magasin.
flops, no other sequel had it worse than Shrek Forever After. Along with the glassware scare, the film also received backlash when DreamWorks greenlit a promotional partnership with a men's fashion magazine. V-Man, the publication in question, decided to use Shrek's creative license by superimposing the film's characters into racy photo shoots alongside suggestively clothed models, resulting in one of the most tasteless and awkward marketing campaigns I have ever seen. I mean, look at this. Not even Shrek wants to be there.
Det er fandme weird.
Of course, V-Man's attempts to market the movie to adults fell on deaf ears.
Det samme, jeg så også Hot Ones. De har lige lavet en, Hot Ones, det er en serie på YouTube, hvor de interviewer kendte, og så skal de spise hot wings, og så går det bare fra en hot wing til meget, meget stærkere hot sauce, der er på vingerne. Og så har de lavet en, hvor det er Peter fra Family Guy, hvor det er sådan et. Så er det jo bare, så ved man jo for det første, det er staged, jo, fordi der er jo et script, de skal jo tegne og sådan noget der. Det er meget sjov idé, og sådan lidt weird, det her niveau. Weird, ikke?
DreamWorks issued a public statement regretting the partnership. Ouch. The first honorable mention in the world of Shrek-themed marketing goes to Vidalia onions. In this day and age, there really aren't many clever ways to increase the sale of onions. There's really not much to it.
Man.
But Vidalia got creative and partnered with DreamWorks in 2010 to promote just that.
Det er sgu da meget fedt.
And
Det er fedt.
by God, it worked.
Det virkede.
Turns out an easy way to increase sales by over 30% is to stick a cardboard cutout of Shrek in front of your product.
Jeg synes, det er vanvittigt, det virker. Det er sygt. Fordi også de har flere lag, ikke?
That's exactly what Vidalia
Bogus
did.
onions.
Seems like as long as Shrek was on the cover, kids were interested,
så weird.
and sales of Vidalia onions inevitably skyrocketed.
Jeg skulle faktisk også til at sige, hvorfor, altså hvis det er et problem, det der med, at nogen reklamerer for slik eller Twinkies, at det er sådan, Shrek er på en Twinkie, fordi så promoverer du sådan, altså, det er lidt ligesom det der med, der har bare noget snak med, sådan folk, nogen, for jeg ved ikke, om der får brugerombudsmanden, og fandt, nej, det var det ikke nogen andre nogen. Jeg synes, det var et problem med YouTube, og reklamerer for chips, for jeg også bare sådan et, ja, det er sådan, hvorfor bruger nogle, dem, der laver sundere ting, gulerødder og sådan noget der, hvorfor bruger de så ikke YouTuber, eller sådan? De kunne lige så godt bare sige, hey, vi kan godt hjælpe med at promovere gulerødder, eller et eller andet, ikke, altså. Eller æblejuice, eller whatever, et eller andet, ikke, altså. Så det er sgu da en super fed idé med løgne der, synes jeg. Det gør de bare ikke, de fleste.
Is this kind of a testament to the manipulative marketing power of child mascots? Probably, but at least in this case it wasn't Twinkies.
Det er sgu da fedt. Jeg synes, det er fedt. Jeg synes godt, sådan nogle, altså, gulerødder blomkål, whatever, du ved, noget med sunde råvarer eller et eller andet. Hvorfor kontakter de ikke sådan influencer og sådan noget der, for dem til at reklamere for tingene, ikke? Altså, ja, det er super weird. Det er super weird.
Shrek's 10-year marketing run, McDonald's would produce countless Happy Meals, toys, and specialty menu items to promote Shrek movies.
Det er super lang tid siden, jeg har fået et Happy Meal. Jeg ved slet ikke, kan man overhovedet få legetøj mere med i sådan noget? Altså sådan en Mac. Kan man ikke få, jeg har jo den McDonald's-app, og mobilen ligger så opladning. Jeg ved, hvorfor en legetøj man får med. Kan man bare skulle prøve at købe eller andet på et tidspunkt, bare for at se. Jeg ved ikke. Får man stadig sådan en Happy Meals legetøj? Jeg ved ikke. Jeg har ingen idé.
Weird as the Shrek ravioli dippers. Exclusively sold in Australia,
Ravioli
this pasta-based menu item was served as a limited-time meal to promote Shrek the Third. Of course, the reason it comes across as so bizarre is because it bears absolutely no resemblance to any specific food at all. I mean, the Shrek-shaped ravioli barely looks like pasta.
Sådan er det ikke bare pasta, der er formet på en sjov måde. Det er da bare farvet pasta, er det ikke det?
This Shrek Boyardee is just another of McDonald's numerous attempts at trying to put pasta on the menu, which is something they literally can't stop trying for some reason.
Det er weird.
As for me, I'll just stick with my Shrek shaken fries, thanks.
Shrek. NASCAR
In 2004,
promotion.
NASCAR legends Tony Stewart and Bobby Labonte would make DreamWorks history when they sported custom Shrek 2 liveries on their cars in 2004. And while these paint schemes made impressive display pieces in die-cast form, nothing came quite as close to the legendary collectability of the action figures.
Sådan. Ej, what? Ej, det er
That's right.
Weird.
These were actually made for some reason, and to this day, the target demographic eludes me.
Weird.
Ja,
target demographic, ja. Hvem køber sådan noget der? Køber folk, der går op i biler og NASCAR og sådan noget der? Vil de købe actionfigurer? Nej, det tror jeg ikke. Jeg tror det ikke.
Lifeblood of the sport itself, it doesn't surprise me that people bought these things. I mean, this is the same organization that sold an entire night of racing to a children's movie.
TNT
What?
Sports presents the SpongeBob SquarePants movie 300.
What? Virkelig?
I think we can all agree that when it came to movie marketing, Shrek was an absolute force that was rivaled by very few films in terms of sheer marketing power.
Onions.
To this day, the level of cultural virality that the franchise still maintains is actually quite impressive, considering the last movie came out over a decade ago. And now, with rumors of a fifth Shrek installment finally in the works, there won't be much we can do when advertisers once again start seeing green.
Nå, men det var sgu meget, når jeg ser hvorfor nogle SHREK Produkter. Jeg synes det er altid sådan noget, det er skide sjovt. Alle mulige mærkelige, weird produkter og ting og sager. Jeg håber, noget af det video, hvis I gjorde, så må I huske at like. Og hvis I gerne vil se mere React-videoer, så må I også huske at like. Vi ses meget snart. Hej hej.